Hello, Top Fan Rivalry followers. It's Wednesday. It's new podcast Wednesday. As promised, we're going to do 10 new podcasts this year coming up with this baseball season. And who better than to do the Dodgers podcast than Mr. Bleeds Blue himself? We're going to call it Bleeding Blue. Mikey is in the house, and we're going to do a Dodger podcast once a week together. Mikey, are you excited about this or what?
I love it. It's awesome.
On a scale 1 to excited, are you at least an 11.3 on the excited meter?
Out of 10, I'm an 11.
There you go. Well, see, then you know. Then you know.
Yeah.
So I know you, you know me, but for the group that's out there watching this on YouTube right now, they may not know both of us. So why don't you tell everybody who you are and how you became a Dodger fan?
Well, I am Mikey Bleeds Blue. Um, you can just call me Mikey. Uh, how I became a Dodgers fan? Um, well, I come from a different generation than a lot of your probably people who are going to be seeing this. So I really started noticing them when I was about 5. And that's because my uncles were Dodgers fans, and um, they introduced me to it. So that's simply how I became one, and it was, it was a good time to be a Dodger fan in the 70s. They had some pretty exciting teams, that and they had what I loved, which was always the same lineup. You could pretty much count on, I mean, the same infield was there for almost 10 full years together.
Yeah.
um our managers, we'd had 2 managers in the last 40 years between Walter Alston and Tommy Lasorda. I just loved the fact that you knew them and they weren't going anywhere.
Yeah. And
So
and so for those of you that don't know Mikey, he lives in enemy territory, so he was raised in the Bay Area. So being a Dodger fan is not easy to come by where he's at. Let me tell you. True story, Mikey.
now, just thank gosh I was had some good family members and was born with good baseball taste.
There you go. Well, for those of you that know or don't know, I even though I run Top Fan Rivalry and we cover all 30 teams, I am a diehard Dodger fan. I grew up in Orange County. Parents were divorced. Dad lived up in the Van Nuys area with his new wife. My mom was in Orange County with her new husband, and um, for some reason, I chose the Dodgers. I love history. I'm a huge history guy. I read a book about the president and the White House when I was 12 years old, and I looked it up the other day because I thought it was like 700 or 800 pages. Apparently, it was 1,500 pages, and I read it when I was 12. I just love history, and the Dodgers are that team that has that history. And the 70s and 80s and gosh, 74, 77, 78, 81, 88. I mean, that's 5 World Series appearances inside of 14, 15 years, which is huge, winning 2 out of the 5. So I love the team. I love the nostalgia of it. I love the Garvey Lopes Russell Say infield that Mikey talked about. It's just fantastic. So
Yeah.
um, thought we would introduce ourselves because this segment is going to be a lot more Dodger centric. Obviously, we have Astros in orbit with Susie. We have Can of Corn with Big Dave. We got the weekly review with Jackson, who's a Braves fan, and then Sam and I do Around the Diamond. But this segment is going to be pure for the Dodger purist, and oh, how we love it. So, Mikey, new thoughts about where we are a couple of days away from 2024. We got FanFest coming up, and then you and I got spring training. But talk to me about the big news, the stuff that you saw in the off season. That obviously there's an elephant in the room on this one, but talk to me about the big news.
I would say there's, I mean, one huge elephant, but there's two other pretty big elephants in there. I mean, it we were spoiled this off season, with the signing of Shohei Ohtani, and Yamamoto, and the trade for Glasnow. So, I mean, what a time to be a Dodger fan. These last, really 10 years. I mean, we've just, we struggled in the playoffs, yes, but I mean, for the most part, the Dodgers have done a lot of winning over
Mhm.
the last 10 years.
Yeah, and it's hard to justify being frustrated when you've been to the World Series in 17, 18, and 20. And so in the last 6 years, you've been there three times. Won it once, arguably maybe a second time. Who knows? We can argue that point, but it's hard to be frustrated about going to the World Series three times in 6 years,
Yes.
right? I mean,
But
look at
yet
the
some people find a way to do it, and that must be a tough way to be a fan. I don't tell anybody how to fan, but the best you can ask from your team and your ownership is to keep you involved for a baseball season. And I mean, our regular seasons have been incredible, absolutely incredible. Dave Roberts, his you know during 162 game season records is phenomenal. I mean, in the short amount of time that he's been there.
yeah.
um so we've been spoiled, and with the ownership group we have, that they've gone out of their way to give the Dodgers a chance to win every year. I mean, with the big signings of Mookie Betts, or the big trade for Betts, and then getting Freddie Freeman as a free agent, and then Ohtani and Yamamoto, and then the trade for Glasnow. I mean, the Dodger front office and ownership group is willing to do whatever it takes to try and bring a winner to LA.
Yeah, and there's two things and I agree with you, Mikey. There's two things that I think about this current era of 2024. Number one, I love the signings because it puts Walker Buehler on edge. It makes him produce because you've got Emmett Sheehan, you got Bobby Miller, the two young kids, and then you got Yamamoto, and you've got Tyler Glasnow. If Walker doesn't pitch and show up ready on day one and pitch effective, well, guess what? You replace Walker with Shohei the following year. And so it
And
it
yeah, you're right, and it's up to Walker Buehler because he's a free agent after this year. He's pitching for a contract, so coming off of his second Tommy John, I mean, he's got a lot to prove. So, the Dodgers, from what I read today, did say though he was going to be on. They're going to manage him, on his innings and pitch count and all that
manage
stuff.
away.
So yeah,
Manage away. I'm okay with that, but it's just he's got to go out and he's got to even if they start him out at the beginning of the season and only let him go 4 innings, he's got to dominate. Those have got to be the four best innings that he's got,
yeah.
right?
Well, look at where we're at. I mean, 2 weeks ago, he
Mm-hmm,
was going to be our number two starter, number one, number two.
right.
Him and Bobby Miller were the guys.
Mm-hmm,
Now with the signing of Yamamoto and the trade for Glasnow, I mean, you can slot him in at three or even four, really,
mm-hmm.
and take some pressure off of him that way.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to be the ace. So
No.
I think that works in his favor too.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, I like that. I like the friendly competition. I don't want extra burden put on Walker. I think he's an incredible talent, but honestly, I want that. I want that friendly competition because I want guys like Dustin May and Tony G who aren't going to pitch this season to get frustrated and go, doggone it, in 2025, I'm coming back with a vengeance. I'm going to make this happen,
Yeah.
right?
Well, so the funny thing is about the Dustin May thing is I have heard that maybe after the All-Star break he could be available. So we'll
Don't rush it.
see. And
Don't rush it, Dustin.
but I could see him, since he's had arm problems in the past. Man, what like a closer kind of guy would he be if he could just use everything for one inning? Just give everything he has for one inning. One inning, maybe 5 outs on a night. Some nights, I mean,
Problem is can he go 2 and 3 and 4 nights in a row?
yeah, that's true.
I mean, that's where it gets a little dicey, but I
Hey,
agree with you.
what a problem to have, though. I
It,
mean, you
amen.
know, Gonsolin is out for the year, but when he's right, what he can do. Dustin May, when he's right, what he can do. Otani, we know what he can do when he's right. So we are, I mean, if just in a perfect world, let's just say that you go Yamamoto, Glasnow, Bueller, Miller, Sheehan, and they're healthy all year. They're
Mhm,
healthy and they're pitching well.
mhm.
Imagine what 2025 is going to be like when you add 3 or 4 more other starters that are coming back healthy. I mean, talk about a great problem to have. I mean, you can make 2, 3 huge trades for big pieces. Um,
No,
I
agreed.
mean, it's crazy, but you know, we all know that probably throughout the whole year, some of these guys are going to have a stint on the IL.
So what I like, Mikey, about this is, and here's the frustration level that I have. And this is Dr. My Build. Now, I'm not the guy that's in the dugout, right? I mean, one of my favorite quotes says, you got to be the man in the arena. Well, I'm not the man in the arena, but I've watched enough baseball over my life and I've played it and I've studied it and I analyze it enough to know that if you're going to make a long run in the playoffs, your pitchers have to give you 5 to 6 solid innings. And you have to get at a bare minimum, they have to give you 50 wins, your starting pitching. So tell me how we don't get 50 wins if Glasnow's healthy, Bobby Miller, Emmett Sheehan, Yamamoto, and Walker Buehler. I'm
Yeah,
thinking maybe closer to 60 or 65, which then puts less stress on the bullpen to eat up innings, which then gets them ready for October. Does that make
yeah,
sense or no? Am
yeah.
I crazy?
No, it does, and we're also not even mentioning a fact of after the All Star break, Clayton Kershaw should be ready to
Yeah,
go. Who's going to
Clayton
sign
Kershaw.
him? It sounds like it's between the Dodgers and Rangers. And sadly, at this point, I love the guy. He's a forever Dodger. He's
First ballot Hall of Famer.
if he's yeah, and if he's healthy, I'd love to have him, but he's not the priority he used to be. So I don't think they'll break the bank for him, but if they can bring him back, I'm sure they would love to.
1 year, 8 million, 10 million. I'm okay with that because of what he's going to do with the young kids. I mean, I told you this, Mikey, when I was at Petco last season. Uh, Bobby Miller was out there shagging fly balls during batting practice, and Clayton was standing next to him, and they were working in between balls getting hit out. Clayton was working on his delivery with Bobby Miller, like showing Bobby Miller just balancing routines and things like that, which you don't see that in the scorebook. But if you're Bobby Miller, who better than a first ballot Hall of Fame guy to teach
Yeah,
you what he's
and
learned?
and not just Bobby Miller. I mean, last year we know what happened to our starting pitching,
Yeah.
and and how we even did what we did in the regular season was amazing.
Hmm.
Um, but
Agreed.
not just Bobby Miller. I mean, Emmett Sheehan got to pick his brain. Michael Grove got to pick his brain. Ryan Pepio, who I mean, you when you want to bring good players in, you got to trade good players, and Pepio's now a Devil Ray or Ray, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So him and it was hard. Johnny DeLuca was where the game is going now. He was one of our better athletes. I
Right.
mean, the guy is an athlete.
Right.
But like I said, you got to get someone good. You got to give up good pieces. So
Yeah. So Mikey, the one thing that I'm not concerned about is the Dodgers were, I won't mention a team, but the Yankees, where everybody's saying, well, we're buying the championship, we're buying this, we're buying that, we're buying this. We homegrown talent. Look at James Outman. Look at Gavin Lux, right? We homegrown talent.
Bobby
We'll
Miller, Will Smith,
Will Smith,
you
yeah,
know,
we'll pay for guys, but we also homegrown talent.
and we all they look at the guys who we picked up off the scrap heap, like Max Muncy and Justin
Justin
Turner and
Turner.
Chris Taylor and pitcher Tyler Anderson, and I mean, they find guys that that people have given up on, and help them with a thing or two here or there, or maybe it just took that long for them to figure it out, but it's not like we buy every free agent on the block.
No, no. And so, yeah. So, Mikey, one of the things, and I've been getting a lot of people asking me about this, and it drives me nuts. One of the hardest things in professional sports is to win a championship. Now, there's a documentary called It Ain't Over, where Derek Jeter tells Yogi Berra, hey, Yogi, I know you won 10, but with the new playoff format, it's really like winning five. And Yogi's response, says, well, come over, you can count the rings if you'd like. And so Yogi just kind of put that, but it's super hard to win a World Series, win a
Yeah.
championship. So here's my thought, Mikey. I say the Dodgers need to get to the Fall Classic within the next 3 years. So 2024, 2025, 2026, they got to get there. Within the first 5 years, 27 and 28, they have to win one. Within that 10-year margin of the Shohei contract, they've got to win a minimum 2 World Series and have to be there at least 3 times. Because I know everybody thinks, and somebody said today to me, they need to win 4 or 5 out of these 10 years. You know how
That-
hard that is to do?
yeah.
I mean,
That's not realistic. I mean, you never know. I didn't
mhm.
think the Dodgers would win, 10 out of the last 11 National League Wests, and they did. So, and the only year they didn't, they won what, 106 games?
Yeah, and lost by
And
by 1 game, 107 to
yeah,
San Francisco.
and then knocked the team out that did it to them. So that, took it from them. So, I mean,
But
it's
see,
been an amazing run.
it has been. But see, Mikey, here's the thing: if you're a fan, if you're a baseball fan, you're a baseball person, you understand this. If you're just the Dodger fan that wants to go for the cheap beer or hot dogs or whatever, okay, yeah, you need to win 10 World Series out of 10 World Series because Shohei, we're paying him 700 million. But it's not realistic. I'll be happy getting to the big dance 3 times in this 10 years and winning 2 out of the 3.
Yeah. I mean, if it was so easy, Mike Trout and him together would have won stuff. So,
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
they're arguably two of the best players in baseball. So why didn't they win?
Yeah. No, I feel you there. And just somebody said to me today, and they use these terms on the phone with me. They said it is an epic fail, Mikey, if the Dodgers don't win 4 World Series out of these 10 years.
I hope it's not someone I know.
It is actually. It, it is. We'll talk
Well,
about that offline.
that's yeah.
But
I
epic fail was the term that was used to me. And I laughed because I thought, okay, in a 10-year span, winning 4 World Series, there's been the Giants that did it every other year, right? For that, whatever. Well, they actually didn't even win 4, they won 3. The only team that's ever done 4 is the Yankees.
Yankees. And when though? In the 1930s,
Well,
20s,
they
30s?
won they won 98, or
Oh,
I'm sorry, 96, 98, 99, 2000,
okay.
lost 2001. So in 4 years, or in 5 years, they won 4 titles.
That's yeah.
But again, and then they got back to the big dance in 01, lost, got to the big dance in 03, lost, got to the big dance in 09 and won, but haven't been back to the big dance since 09.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a difficult
It's
thing.
not easy to win. I'm sorry. I mean, you got 29 other teams, that and everybody plays everybody now. So when you do come down to it at the end, there's really no secrets. You've already played the other team,
Yeah.
everybody's pitched against everybody. You generally are or watched the game that the other pitcher was pitching against, but there's no surprise. It's hard to win. It's just hard to win these days consistently.
It is incredibly difficult to win. There's two seasons, right? There's the 162 games, and if that's not beaten up on your body enough, then let's fast forward a little bit and say, okay, then you've got the postseason, and I know some people love the rest. Some people say the rest isn't fair, whatever. But regardless, you have to be the way that the new playoff format is. You have to be on all the time,
Yeah.
and you have to
Uh,
be on
I,
for a month straight.
I'm still one. I think you and I might differ on this one, but I still like being able to set up my rotation, and
Yeah,
if guys are hurting, give them a couple days to heal up. The last couple years, it looks like it's hurt teams, but maybe they're just getting beaten because
yeah.
they're getting beaten. That's all.
So, so I'm gonna, Mikey. I'll tell you, the Dodgers lost the series against the Diamondbacks on the very first batter when James Outman misplayed that fly ball because that got inside of Clayton's head, gave up 5 runs, fine. But then you put a best of three situation, or best of five situation on the backs of two kids who have never been there, right? And though Emmett Sheehan didn't perform incredible, though Bobby Miller didn't perform incredible, hats off to both of them. They weren't Bobby Miller didn't even think he was going to get a drink of water in the MLB, much less start a playoff game in October this year,
Yeah,
right? You and I talked about this at the beginning of the season. We said he
yeah.
probably won't be coming up this season. It'll be 2024.
In a perfect world, yeah, you
So,
know. But obviously, we know what happened in it.
yeah,
Not only did we dip into Bobby Miller, Emmett Sheehan, Michael Grove, Ryan Pepio. I mean, Tony Gonsolin pitched before he got hurt. Dustin May pitched a few games before he got hurt. Clayton was in and out. And back to the whole Diamondbacks thing, I still semi feel like we were cheated out of game one for letting him even pitch, knowing he was hurt.
amen. Amen. But at the same time, too, and I'm not the man in the batter's box. I'm not the guy on the rubber. So I will never be the person on this side that makes fun of a player. But when you've got Mookie and Freddie and they go 1 for 21, oh my gosh, that's not enough. That's just not
Mm-hmm.
enough. With those two players, that's not enough. Now,
Yeah, that's they set the tone of your lineup,
now,
Um, and
if
it'll be interesting to see because those two hitting one and two have really kind of put up historic numbers for them the last couple of years, and that's probably going to be moved a little bit now. You're probably going to have Shohei hitting two and Freddie Freeman hitting three.
okay, so so that's our grab bag right there. So everybody that's listening to this, we're always going to have a grab bag at the end of the podcast, just random stuff, right? Whether it's Dodgers related or not. Tonight's grab bag is I'm giving Mikey the keys to the kingdom. Mikey, let's assume everybody's healthy. Set up my 1 through 8 lineup. And where's everybody playing? Let's hear it.
Okay, and we don't know. I know the Dodgers are still looking for an outfielder.
Right.
So
Assuming today is the
assuming
27th day of December. So don't hold Mikey to this. Don't go
okay.
unfollow him or clip him or anything like that. It's
No
the
death
27th
threat,
day. It's Wednesday the 27th.
quit
Go
breaking
for it.
my windows.
Yeah,
It gets old, you guys.
go for
I
it.
don't know who gave out my address, but knock it off.
There, there you go. Go for it. Tell me what you got. 1 through 8.
All right, so uh well do you want me to go in batting order too?
Yes.
Where
Batting order.
Okay, so well, you're probably going to have Mookie leading off and playing second base.
Okay.
At least that's how they kind of said it already for this offseason.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Um, Batting number 2 in DH, Otani.
Okay.
Batting third, playing first, Freddie Freeman.
Okay.
Batting fourth, depending on lefties or righties, you're probably going to have Will Smith batting 4
Okay.
and catching. Max Muncy batting fifth, playing third. Uh, Maybe someone like James Outman hitting sixth because he's got some pop playing center field.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say right now they're going to want to try and do like a lefty righty, lefty righty. Maybe Chris Taylor batting seventh, playing left.
Okay.
And then, oh, wait. How many outfielders have I named so far? 2?
Yeah.
I missed someone because Gavin Lux should be in there at shortstop.
Gavin Lux will be in shortstop. You missed Jason Hayward.
Oh, and then I think I messed up on my numbers though.
Okay, so you got
So I
Will
think I
Smith
had
batting fourth.
Outman playing center, hitting sixth.
Okay.
Then seventh would be Chris Taylor
Mm-hmm.
playing left. Eighth, I would say probably Hayward.
Okay.
Right, and then Gavin turning over the lineup, hitting ninth, playing
Nice.
short.
Okay. I like that. Would you like to hear my differences on yours?
Sure.
Okay.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. Okay, here we go. Mookie Betts leading off playing second base. Batting second, Freddie Freeman playing first base. Batting third, doing the catching, Will Smith. Batting fourth, Shohei Otani, DHing. Batting fifth, Max Muncy. Batting sixth, Jason Hayward. Batting seventh, um, uh, batting seventh, I would put Gavin Lux in number 7, Chris Taylor 8, and let James Outman roll the lineup. The reason why I like, and I know Shohei probably won't bat cleanup, but the reason why I like Shohei batting cleanup, Mikey, is because Betts, Freeman, and Will Smith will see fantastic pitches if Shohei's batting fourth, because
Yeah, we're
nobody
kind of
wants.
left-handed heavy, aren't we?
Yeah, yeah. But that takes us, if we go my route, that takes us lefty righty all the way through number 7. So, but yeah, we are. I just and Shohei batting second, that's fine. Freddie and Will are still going to see
I
pitches.
just have heard that's where they've slotted him so far. So,
Yeah,
but
no, and I
like we've said, I mean, Mookie and Freddie have put up pretty historic numbers their 2 years or so together. So
but think about it like this. Think about it like this. If you're the starting pitcher and you're looking at a lineup and you go, okay, I got Mookie, who was in the Hall or All-Star, I'm sorry, MVP talks last season, followed by Freddie, followed by Will Smith. Crap, if I can't get these guys out, then I've got to face Shohei with somebody on base. That's to me, that's scary. That's all kinds of
yeah,
scary.
my only problem would be worrying about. I know Max, God love him, 30 homer season or more, 100 RBIs,
Yep.
but his batting average and his strikeouts were nothing to be desired. So if you, I would obviously, if there was 2 outs and Otani was up with a runner at second or runners at second and third with 2 outs, I'd probably put him on to face Max Muncy.
Which Max has got to put the bat on the ball, just plain out, because that's a very viable thing is to walk Otani to get to Max. Okay.
Mm.
And then here's the other thing that we're not taking into consideration here. So let's just say Mookie gets on, he doubles. Freddie strikes out, but Freddie does it in a Freddie fashion where he uses up 8 or 9 pitches. Will Smith comes up and he flies out. Now we got a runner on third and 2 outs. Well, you're going to walk Otani. Now all of a sudden you've got Max, but you've got the pitcher in 20 to 25 pitches in the first inning.
Hmm.
So that's the untangible right there. So let's just say that Max flies out on 4 or 5 pitches. Now you're 25, 30 pitches into the first inning.
Yeah. And generally that's what you're going to get out of
Yeah.
Max Muncy because he's going to grind you. He
Yeah.
might strike out, but you're going to throw 7, 8 pitches.
Yeah. No, I completely and totally agree. I just to me it's so fascinating because I'm looking at this lineup as a former pitcher, I'm looking at this lineup going, there's nobody in this lineup, including Chris Taylor and Jason Hayward, that I want to pitch to. Or maybe if Max is struggling, Mikey, you flip Max and you put in the number 5 position, maybe you put Gavin Lux. He's hit
Who
fifth
puts the ball
before.
in play when he plays? I mean, he does put the ball in play, and he's
Yeah,
got some speed.
yeah. And so, but anyways, these are all first world problems to have. I mean, on paper, it looks like we're going to win 190 games this season, but we'll see.
Look, I'll say it for Dodger fans as far as I'm concerned. We're where the Padres were last year. Everybody was talking about them winning 100. They should win 117 games. You still got to win the games. We saw what happened to the Padres. They couldn't handle it. They couldn't handle the pressure, and it got to them, and they didn't have a very good season.
Well,
So
and even
hopefully the
worse,
Dodgers. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Mikey, go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just hopefully the Dodgers get off to a like we were talking about before. If the Padres get off to a good start in the regular season, watch out. But they didn't,
Yeah.
and it kind of snowballed on them where they probably pressed so hard to try and get back in it that they played worse.
Well, and what I'm fearful of is I'm fearful of the 2008 Yankees. We score a bunch of runs, but we can't pitch.
I'm
And
not
it's
really worried about that with our pitching staff. I'm at this point.
anything's possible, right?
Yeah,
The last thing I want to see happen, though, Mikey, is us averaging 7 runs a game but giving up 8.
yeah.
You know,
I don't see it at this juncture right now, though.
I'm hoping we're right. I'm hoping we both agree. But Mikey, how do we do for our first episode ever of Bleeding Blue?
I like it.
Did we do okay?
I think so.
Awesome. Well, Top Fan Rivalry followers, that's Mikey. I'm Bill. We're going to give this to you every week.
Do you
Now,
want to try and throw a couple things out there about, maybe as we get more comfortable doing this, we'll bring people in, have a guest or so, and
absolutely. Absolutely. So I was just going to say that. So, Mikey, I love where you're going with this. So, first of all, the first 4 episodes of this you'll hear on RSS feed and you'll hear on YouTube. So, for those of you that are coming in through YouTube, make sure that you're subscribing to Top Fan Rivalry. Um, please understand, in 4 weeks, so at the end of January, after FanFest, these will no longer be on YouTube. They will no longer be on RSS feed. They will no longer be on Spotify. They will only be in the locker room. So you're going to have to get locker room access in order to hear this content. But as time goes on, Mikey and I have friends. We will bring our friends into this. We'll have some fun. We might even bring 1 or 2 people that are out of the country. Mikey, maybe we'll get a guest that's out of the country to talk some Dodger baseball, right?
down under.
From down under. That's right.
Mhm.
So, Mikey, thank you so much for making time and making yourself available today.
No,
It's
no, I always enjoy talking baseball with you, especially Dodger baseball, Bill.
especially so. Top Fan Rivalry followers, we hope you enjoyed the first ever episode of Bleeding Blue. Let us know what you think. Give us comments, throw some information out on our social medias, and we appreciate it. We'll give it a run at it next week as well. Thanks,
All right,
Mikey.
thanks everybody.